My name's Ray Seckler. I'm
He's
here.
fresh.
Yeah, Ronnie Branch.
It's live.
Philip Scoggins.
It's local. See
Wow.
what I'm saying?
You got it.
I tell you what, she's a good one.
Yeah, buddy.
Keeps us boys straight anyway. All
Yeah.
right, folks, what we're going to talk about today?
Oh, we're going to talk about antiques at once sometime today.
Antiques. All I know about much of them is I'm one.
There you go. Well,
Well-
that's the first step.
Yeah.
Thank you, Philip.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
So we got some Civil War stuff
So
online for today.
you almost had to do the show by yourself today, didn't you?
Well, that's whatever, the what you said.
Yeah, me
The
and
fuel
Ronnie-
pump went out. There you go.
Yeah,
fuel
fuel-
pump will stop you.
yeah,
just
fuel
about.
pump stopped my truck dead in its tracks yesterday, and I got the fuel pump and got the bed off, but I just didn't get around to getting it on
Oh,
before
okay.
it got dark. So Ray was going to give me a ride, and
Well, I'll tell you one thing. Old Ronnie's helped me out a many times. I couldn't hardly refuse him.
it was getting close, and I called my mama because I thought Ray forgot, and I couldn't
Oh,
get him on the
listen.
phone.
Oh yeah.
And so I called Mama, and she's on her way up here to get me, and she left her phone at home, so I couldn't call her to tell her that I left with Ray.
Oh well,
I
you
coulda
can tell her
called-
now because she's
I
probably
coulda-
listening
I
on the
could have
radio.
called her before she
Hey,
walked out
hey.
the door if she took her phone.
You better be apologizing, Ronnie.
I just did.
Oh, okay. Big time.
Big time.
I know
Don't
your
kill me,
mama.
Mom.
Yeah.
Yeah, but anyway, we are gonna get around to talking about some stuff here. We're gonna talk about some Civil War cockades, and for those of you who don't know what that was, they used to wear them for all types of things to show support for one cause or another. But in the context we're going to be talking to, Philip, you're going to kill me, aren't you?
Yeah, I'll
Well,
inform them.
I got some good friends that really are into this Civil War stuff. Now, they've dug up some pretty interesting stuff.
Oh Lord, I'm into
You
it
know.
myself. This stuff is nice.
A lot of the Civil War
Yes.
stuff seems to bring more money than Revolutionary War
Really?
stuff, which just
Yeah.
amazes me. Is that it's just because people want to collect it, So there you go.
Yeah, we was just talking about some of the Civil War soldiers listening to your dad's music,
Yeah,
being allowed to listen to it.
that is old, isn't it?
Yeah, we was thinking that's about 150 years
Yeah.
or so.
Yes, at the beginning it could have overlapped. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, the 4-year war
Yeah.
from you know where.
Okay. Okay. So a cockade. Let me read the actual definition. Okay.
There you go.
The simple definition of the word is a decoration worn on a hat or uniform to define a person's status or rank. In the Civil War, the wearing of a cockade, usually of a rosette design, was much more personal. It was a badge declaring one's loyalty to the Union or the Confederacy. Many of the cockades, both Union and secessionist, were of northern manufacture. For instance, one with a button in the center carrying the Palmetto and the secession motto was turned out by the Schofield Manufacturing Company in Connecticut. So so the Yankees were selling them too.
Yeah, they were the Union was selling them
There you go.
to the Confederacy.
Yeah.
Ain't that something?
So cockades were nothing new. People wore decorations such as ribbons and badges as identifications for centuries prior to the war. Colors, shapes, and emblems were used to show patriotism, support for the troops, stand for a cause, show rank, or declare loyalty. Generally, the colors of the cockade were the colors of the national flag under which one served. Emblems such as military buttons or national symbols were often added to the rosette to create a cockade full of political fervor. Early American cockades were black, taken from the British ruling House of Hanover. France's national cockade at the time was white, so black and white were used in military cockades during the American Revolutionary War. This symbolized France's cooperation with the United States against Britain. Even as late as the 1860s, black and white cockades were still viewed as patriotic emblems of the First War for Independence. By 1860, the United States patriotic cockades switched to red, white, and blue. Part of the reason was at the beginning of the French Revolution in 1789, many Americans wore the French tricolor as a show of sympathy for the revolutionary ideas of freedom and equality. And during the Civil War, the variety of cockade styles to choose from really expanded. Depending on your political sympathies, basic Union cockade was red, white, and blue. The cockade might be adorned with military buttons and eagles, spangles, and sometimes buttons and tintypes of famous public figures such as Washington or Lincoln adorn the centers. It seemed that with the pro-secessionists, a number of different designs were employed. An early color scheme was a white palmetto tree on a red background. However, the most popular secession cockade was blue in color. Blues ranged from pale baby blue to a dark navy blue. Blue became a symbol for the South in 1832 during what is known as the nullification crisis between South Carolina and the federal government. This crisis arose over some highly disputed federal tariffs. The northern states were more industrialized, therefore importing fewer goods. The states in the South were more agrarian, so they paid higher tariffs due to the higher rate of imported goods. The South maintained that the tariff income was not being spent equally to the benefit of all the states. The South paid more taxes, but received fewer benefits. A temporary compromise was eventually negotiated, but not before tensions rose to the point in 1832 when South Carolina went so far as to nullify the tariff laws in that state. At the time, the political emblem worn by the South Carolinians was a blue cockade. It was said that every man wore a blue cockade with a palmetto button in the center as the emblem of South Carolina, the Palmetto State. Every lady wore the same favor on her bonnet or on her bosom. So with the election of Abraham Lincoln in 1860, sectional tensions arose once again and the blue cockades reappeared. A Baton Rouge newspaper, the Daily Advocate, described the South Carolina militia emblem, stating, "The badge adopted is a blue rosette, 2.5 inches in diameter, with a military button in the center. Both men and women wore the blue cockades." What gave particular interest to the grand display of beauty, grace, and elegance was the exhibition of blue cockades worn on the shoulders of nearly all the ladies who appeared in public. I couldn't tell you what these are made out of. They look like
Well, they
felt.
made them out of all kinds of stuff, cotton, whatever paper, whatever they had.
Right.
But the ones in those pictures there, they don't really specify. But we will get some prices, towards the end there,
Yeah.
19th. They got some prices of some. Even though the North was at war with the South, they traded. They called them smugglers. They called them, all kinds of stuff. But they still traded. And I'd say the federal government themselves. Man, I can't believe that the states used to tariff each other.
Yeah, that seems pretty
within the
pretty
United
surprising.
States.
Yeah, I'm glad we don't do that anymore.
No. I'm glad we don't either. That's the same deal we've got going right now. Tariffing our imported goods. And we should,
Yes, we should have. Should have a long time ago.
Yes,
Had 32 years of presidents that didn't have the guts to stand up and do something.
yeah.
Okay, so in Washington, D.C., Margaret Leach, in her work Revival in Washington, 1865, wrote, "The shouts were those of rejoicing over a telegram announcing the secession of South Carolina. It was the late dinner hour, and dining rooms and corridors were shaken with excitement as men with the blue cockades of the secessionists brushed jubilantly past those that wore the colors of the Union. The Richmond Dispatch, a Virginia newspaper, fretted, "Some of our young gentlemen have mounted the blue cockade and the Virginia button, while others sport the red, white, and blue rosettes. We hope they will not come in collision during these exciting times." But as we all know, collide they did, and for 4 long years. Many, especially secessionist patriotic cockades, were homemade and often uniquely designed by the wearer or by a family member.
10 times.
Samuel R. Watkins of the Murray Grays, 1st Tennessee Regiment, reported, "Everywhere could be seen Southern cockades made by the ladies and Our Sweethearts. Later in the war, during 1862, he mentioned another incident of cockades made by the women. I saw then what I had long since forgotten, a cockade the Kentucky girls made for us, and almost every soldier had one pinned to his hat. However, they could also be purchased from a dealer. Throughout the war, cockade merchants advertised secession cockades, Union rosettes, and campaign badges in the newspaper. Patriotic ones were also sold by ladies in fundraising activities such as bazaars and fairs. Prices generally ranged from 25 to 50 cents. And advertisements by shops in Southern newspaper touted they had both Union and secessionist cockades for sale, adding one needn't come to their store but could buy them through the mail. This last line might tempt a pro-Union buyer to place an order. Although most commonly made from silk, taffeta, ribbon, any material could be used, such as wool, cotton, velvet, or even paper. Center emblems ranged from military buttons to ferrotype photo buttons, miniature flags, and natural products like corn or pine cones. Today, original Civil War cockades can be viewed at historical societies and, when found for sale, carry a hefty price. Cowan Auctions sold an 1865 cockade with a ferrotype of George Washington in the center for $660 in 2007. In a recent sale, eBay's seller garnered $810 for a cockade with a ferrotype of Lincoln in the center. Beware of reproduction cockades, which can be easily found.
Very easily made, too.
Yeah, that
Because
would.
it's just twisting up some ribbon and putting something in the middle of it.
Yeah,
Did you see those prices?
I did
They-
not look at that.
There was a
on the
George
very end.
Washington and
Oh, sorry.
a Lincoln.
Okay, a Civil War cockade with ferrotype of George Washington. That's the 660 one at the Cowan Auctions.
Yeah, now that's a big price for one of those.
Yeah,
And it's red, white, and blue, so that makes it a Union.
right. And they've got a picture of a Marylanders says they wore this type of cockade, which is a support for the South, which is a Maryland state button and kind of a baby blue around it. Irish cockade worn by U.S. Army Colonel Dennis Burke is a green one, but it's the Irish.
And now I would say that with George Washington is probably not a Civil War. It's probably older. Because
I don't know.
why would they put Washington on
Well,
it?
just to show
Unless they just had a Washington button.
their allegiance to the Union, I think would be
Because
the
back
point for
then,
that.
them buttons wouldn't have been that old.
True. Well,
You know?
they've still been old,
Less,
but not
less
that
than
old.
100 years, about 100 years.
Well, do you want us to take a
They
break
would-
here, and we'll
Time
come
to take a
back
break.
and bring
Gotta
some
pay the
prices?
bills.
That's
All
right.
right.
Let's Talk Antiques continues on your hometown station.
When I was growing up in Coffee County, I saw firsthand the need for good paying jobs. When I was county mayor, working with other dedicated Coffee Countyans, we recruited $240.6 million in industry investment in Coffee County. 2,968 new good paying jobs to Coffee County. I'm David Pennington, candidate for Coffee County Mayor, and I ask you to join me and help make Coffee County an even better place to live and work.
Hello, I'm Pick and Rick T from CFC, best place to get you used auto parts and all types of metals to repurpose for your needs. Just take a drive down 55, see this handsome guy, stop on by. Check out our computer for hundreds of autos to locate the make and the model of the part you need. $2 fee is all you pay. Sign in and get a hand stamp, it's good for all day. Bring in your tools, get the parts you need pulled, and use a wheelbarrow to lighten the load. Pay for your parts, prices you'll be fond of. Each part's price the same, Chevy or Honda. Get exchange warranty for 30 days too. Swap out the parts you don't need for the parts that you do. Happy picking!
My name's John Hirschman. I'm one of the original 6 owners of P&H Rentals. Started the company 30 years ago when we saw a need for individual, construction, industrial, and commercial storage. We have trailers and containers for lease and sell. Our physical location is 2947 Old Manchester Highway, Tullahoma, Tennessee. My phone number is area code 931-273-4252.
The Jiffy Burger on the Hillsborough Boulevard in Manchester has been voted as having the best hamburgers in Manchester. Hometown atmosphere, historical memorabilia, and of course those great burgers, salads, chicken, and so much more. It's the Jiffy Burger on the Hillsborough Boulevard in Manchester. Call in orders at 728-4452. You can also order at the convenient outdoor curb service. Hamburgers are made the old-fashioned way at the Jiffy Burger, Manchester's finest hamburgers. Open 7:30 until 9, Monday through Saturday.
The day the Lord created hope could be the same day He created spring.
Springtime's here. It's a good time to get our air conditioners checked out before those hot summer days get here. We've been here for a little over 35 years. It's been our pleasure to serve our community. We'd like to thank you for Tullahoma's finest, and from all of us to all of you.
Thank you!
Hey everybody, we're back with Talking Antiques, and the number here is 728-1320.
There's the man, Max Northcutt.
Yeah,
That's the man.
he really is.
He's the man when Donna tells him.
And then what is he when she doesn't tell him?
Well, I'm not going to enter that field at all.
I don't blame you. Max might be listening.
Well, we've looked up some cockade things on eBay, and the first thing that shows up is kind of the gray area of it. It's actually tintype photos of a guy, husband and wife, but they're both wearing cockades in the photos. So that's a little gray area on the cockade search.
I just as soon have the tintype picture, but the tintypes that bring the most money are of the soldiers.
Oh yeah, okay.
You know.
Well, that guy's probably a soldier,
But
wouldn't
Confederate
you figure?
and Union.
Yeah.
But,
So he says Union Corporal with patriotic cockade and a lovely woman.
Yeah, was
So-
he wearing his uniform?
I believe so.
I
Yeah, yeah, because he's got bars on his arms.
So
yeah.
so there's a little money right there, and then you get an example of a cockade too.
20 bids on that. It went for $207.
I'd like to have that.
That seems like a pretty decent price for that.
Yeah,
Here
that's a
is-
good price for that.
A rare 1800 Civil War Victorian patriotic vintage cockade badge with a button. And 15 bids on that went for $152.50. So
You
this
know-
is red, white, and blue with silver tassels hanging off the middle.
That one looks so good, you know. I
I
would.
wonder how you got silver back then.
Yeah,
Kid.
Well, I don't know, but it really looks good. Yeah, I mean the colors are still good and bright.
Yeah. Well, it's a little worn at some sides, but yeah. So it's not new. You can tell that.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't. Let's say I couldn't tell you a real one from a not real one really at this point.
And there's a lot of reproductions out there, so you just gotta take a chance, I guess, on something like that. I don't know how you would tell the difference.
A reputable dealer, I guess, is where you fall back to.
Yeah,
again on
because
that.
material's material.
Next is an early Civil War era cockade, black with the gold star. It was $100. One bid on that. Here is a Civil War Confederate veteran South Carolina leather cockade. And so there were 6 bids on that, went for $53.89. Now, when you search for Civil War cockades, you actually run up with several things of the Russian Civil War.
Yes, because it was
So-
a civil war.
Yeah, so there's several of those.
But you know, I wouldn't mind having stuff from the Russian Revolution. Isn't that where the one where they killed Tsar Nicholas and his family?
Theirs was, I'd like to think, is probably as bloody as ours, because that was a rough time.
Well, they killed the whole royal family, you know. And
They killed a lot
he
of
was
people.
like a cousin to the King of England,
Yeah.
and he wouldn't help him.
Okay, I got so the prices dropped pretty drastically after that. Civil War era cockade. This is a black mourning fan. which I don't really know if you would consider that a cockade, but I guess it fans out
But
into
now
what
this
looks
thing
like
looks
the ribbon.
really good to me.
Yeah, it looks very nice. $18 with 3 bids on that. Civil War Grand Temple Pythagorean Sisters cockade with Haverhill, Massachusetts button in the middle of it. It only brought $10.
Yeah.
Antique Civil War Morning cockade was black with a red ribbon hanging off the middle of it. $8 for that one. And a Georgia Secession cockade reproduction, $5.
At least they told you it was a reproduction.
Yeah, it says it was for a reenactor, Civil War reenactor.
Now, the next time you see it on there, they're probably selling it as the real deal.
There you go. Somebody buy it for that one, and
Or a
then,
flea market or a
and
yard sale somewhere.
crank it up a little bit.
Yeah.
That used to be a big thing, is reenactment.
You know, I
A lot
don't
of
hear
people-
about as
you
many
don't hear about it as
reenactors
much as you used to.
So, oh well, that's all I've got on these. Do you have something else,
Well,
Ronnie?
let me see. No, but I got some nice Civil War stuff here. This says actual vintage Civil War flag. Pre-owned. Brought $16,800 with 46 bids.
Wow, that's pretty cool. The stars are just
That's what I was gonna say.
randomly
I just noticed that.
randomly sewn
Yeah.
on the blue background.
Now look here what I pull up. When I hit the picture.
Percussion caps. How odd.
When I hit the picture, I get percussion caps. And it's
I've
that,
had
so
that
there,
happen to me the other day on eBay where
It's happening a lot
when I
right
clicked
now.
on the picture, it brought up a different article.
and I think they're doing that for ended auctions.
I-
So that, you know, to
take
take
you
you
to
to something
something.
active.
Okay.
I think
That
that's
could
what
be
they're
it.
doing to keep people from just, you know, killing time browsing them.
They don't want
Okay.
you to just browse. They want you to spend money.
Here is a Civil War relic. This is dug at Gettysburg. You know, there's a big cat battle there at Gettysburg. But it looks like a button of some sort. It doesn't, the guy doesn't really say what it is here, but it looks like a button to me. Half a dime. Okay, here we go. You're bidding on a silver Civil War 1853 half dime, dug in a Confederate position south of Pickett's Charge, found 1950s on private land. I had a few coins from this site since. It's a nice readable display. A few asked me if they were dug. Yes. Silver coins do not tarnish in the ground. See North South Trader magazine. And then it really looks good.
Yeah, it's in very good shape.
I brought $126
Not bad for a nickel.
with 49 bids. Yeah, that's all it is, half a dime and a nickel.
That's a pretty good investment.
Yeah.
But good looking piece. Okay, let's see. We got some more good Civil War stuff here too. I got a Civil War sword here. National Light Guard, 1861. 41 bids, brought $1,575. And says I've tried unsuccessfully to find anyone here in New Jersey that can appraise the item or even give me an approximate value as to its worth. So somebody figured it was worth $1,500 anyway.
Wow.
1,575 of them. 41 people did.
Not bad.
Yeah, they all wanted it. Okay, I've got a cavalry officer 5-inch brass pocket spyglass or telescope. Small antique. It's a little, it's about that long. And it was just, you know, they would look through it to, you know, like we do binoculars. But he brought $161, 42 bits. And here's just a collection of odds and ends. It says relics collection, Civil War relics. Brought $115 with 41 bids. There's probably, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 or 12 things there. Looks like a couple of buttons. And I don't know what all that stuff is. Okay, so I do know what this is. Eagle Revolver Flask, Civil War. $406 with 46 bits. Okay, it says original Civil War period bullseye canteen. And they're calling it a bullseye canteen because it's a round canteen and it's got the little rings that go progressively inward till you get a bullseye in the middle. I guess that was kind of a way to remind the soldiers.
I don't know. It's something to do with the manufacturing process.
I don't
too,
know if I'd
maybe,
want to
but-
turn it around, put it on my chest.
I was going to say, that's kind of setting up a target for the boy.
Yeah. Wouldn't that be bad? But the canteen brought $215 with 26 bits. And we have a Civil War cartridge box. It's a leather bag. Got a strap that goes over their shoulder, and hooked to the bag. They put their ammunition in it, their powder, their balls, and their powder, and their packing. About $374 with 39 bits. And here's a Confederate holster. $306 with 27 bits. Now, it's just a gun holster. Now, their guns were black powder, weren't they? Their
Oh, yeah.
pistols?
Well,
Or were
yeah, I
they?
couldn't tell you actually. I'd be guessing. on
Maybe
that.
somebody knows. It says this one is 14 inches long. And he had another piece on there too. But anyway, the holster brought $306 for 27 bits. And here's another tin type. But now I don't think these are not soldiers. Just a Civil War era tin type. But it looks like a pretty good picture. 3 cowboys for $66 with 13 bits. And here's a Springfield musket stock Civil War. Just a stock, $93, 27 bits. And is it time for a break, Tiffany?
I do believe it is time for us to take a break.
All right.
The day the Lord created hope could be the same day He created spring.
Springtime's here. It's a good time to get our air conditioners checked out before those hot summer days get here. We've been here for a little over 35 years. It's been our pleasure to serve our community. We'd like to thank you for Tullahoma's finest, and from all of us to all of you.
Thank you!
My name's John Hirschman. I'm one of the original 6 owners of P&H Rentals. Started the company 30 years ago when we saw a need for individual, construction, industrial, and commercial storage. We have trailers and containers for lease and sell. Our physical location is 2947 Old Manchester Highway, Tullahoma, Tennessee. My phone number is area code 931-273-4252.
The Jiffy Burger on the Hillsborough Boulevard in Manchester has been voted as having the best hamburgers in Manchester. Hometown atmosphere, historical memorabilia, and of course those great burgers, salads, chicken, and so much more. It's the Jiffy Burger on the Hillsborough Boulevard in Manchester. Call in orders at 728-4452. You can also order at the convenient outdoor curb service. Hamburgers are made the old-fashioned way at the Jiffy Burger, Manchester's finest hamburgers. Open 7:30 until 9, Monday through Saturday.
When I was growing up in Coffee County, I saw firsthand the need for good paying jobs. When I was county mayor, working with other dedicated Coffee Countyans, we recruited $240.6 million in industry investment in Coffee County. 2,968 new good paying jobs to Coffee County. I'm David Pennington, candidate for Coffee County Mayor, and I ask you to join me and help make Coffee County an even better place to live and work.
Hello, I'm Pickin' Rick T from CFC, best place to get you used auto parts and all types of metals to repurpose for your needs. Just take a drive down 55, see this handsome guy, stop on by. Check out our computer for hundreds of autos to locate the make and the model of the part you need. $2 fee is all you pay. Sign in and get a hand stamp, it's good for all day. Bring in your tools, get the parts you need pulled, and use a wheelbarrow to lighten the load. Pay for your parts, prices you'll be fond of. Each part's price the same, Chevy or Honda. Get exchange warranty for 30 days too. Swap out the parts you don't need for the parts that you do. Happy picking.
All right, folks, we're back with Let's Talk Antiques.
All right.
All right.
We're going to make a little swing here. Last week we said we was going to talk about telephones, and we never got around to it. So we're going to dig in there, and we're going to talk about some of these old telephones.
Yeah. I think
and there's
any phone that plugs into a wall is becoming rare nowadays.
That's what I was fixing to say. There's a lot of them laying around.
Who would have ever thought that
the rotary dial, I see a lot of those candlestick phones.
Yeah, did you ever learn the trick about how you could dial a phone number with a rotary dial phone when the phone was locked, so you couldn't turn it?
The sound.
No, with the rotary dial.
Oh, with the rotary dial? No, okay. I didn't.
What it was, so I learned this when I was young on the internet. Well, there was no internet. Bulletin boards.
Yeah.
And what it was is if like you were dialing a 455 number, you pick up the receiver and tap the receiver thing 4 times and do 1, 2, 3, 4, and then pause for a second and do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And that was because when you listen to the crank as it unwound, it would do that exact same thing. It would break the circuit however many times you crank that around. So if you tap the top receiver cradle, then the amount of times for the number you were trying to dial, you could dial on a. It's because some people would lock the phone where you couldn't make a call out or stuff like that.
Right.
That was a way to get around that back in the day.
So there you have it.
Useless information now because there's no home phones anymore.
There's very few. My mom still has a landline.
Yeah, that's what businesses still have them.
Yeah.
But those are, if you tap that, it's just going to hang up the line. So that's not going to work at a business. So.
But even though they still have them now, they work on the internet as a backbone.
Oh, true. Yeah.
Because they turned their telephone lines into internet lines because they were more profitable.
True.
And they could run them both off of them.
Yep.
So there you have it.
All right. Most of us can no longer imagine life without a cell phone. However, it wasn't that long ago when we were tied to phones that were hooked to the wall. Those older phones are now valued by collectors, and there's no better authority on the history and value of these than Tom Adams, a North Carolina man who has collected and sold thousands of such vintage telephones. I've collected old stuff since I was 11 years old, and I'm still going strong 49 years later. I started with stamps, moved to coins, and by the time I was in my early 20s, I was collecting telephones. He possesses a small collection of rare and pristine old phones from the pre-1900s. The oldest I have is a matched pair of 1878 telephones, commonly referred to as coffins due to their similarity to a real coffin. Adams said they were made by Charles Williams Jr. in Boston for Bell Telephone. It was the same location where Alexander Graham Bell invented the phone in 1876. They were found in a suitcase under the floor of a barn. They were valued at about $12,500 each.
That's some money for a phone.
Yeah. Telephones marked Charles William Jr. or American Bell are among the most prized finds for telephone collectors, says Mike Tisdale, a vintage phone enthusiast from Tampa, Florida, who has collected more than 1,700 old phones. Collectible antiques and vintage telephones basically fill all 3 groups: wood wall phones, candlestick phones, and desk sets, Tisdale said. Wooden wall phones were produced from 1876 through World War II. With the exception of some of the earliest models, they've lost much of their appeal as few collectors still remember growing up with them. Candlestick phones were produced from the 1890s through the 1920s and are still in great demand, especially the earliest turn-of-the-century nickel-plated models. And finally, desk sets, including telephones after 1830, are the bulk of the hobby today. Desk sets started in the early 1920s models with ringer boxes, but most will recall the hip phones of the 60s and 70s. These were Ericophone, Princess, and Trimline phones. According to Tisdale, the most commonly found phones among the average collector these days are rotary dial models such as Western Electric 202s, 302s, and 500s. While Western Electric is the big name for many American collectors, makers like Automatic Electric, Kellogg Switchboard and Supply, Stromberg, Carlson, and many others are also in high demand, Tisdale said. Many phone collectors also focus on related items such as telephone signs and switchboards. Wood phones were handcrafted in small shops, often made from walnut or other valuable woods. These phones have multiple boxes to hold batteries, a hand cranked magneto to signal the operator, and a transmitter. Resembling a wooden box camera, they lacked separate receivers and transmitters. In fact, Bell's failure to develop a powerful enough transmitter for his phone allowed others to gain a toehold in this burgeoning market, which is why many 19th century wood telephone bear multiple patent numbers and names, including Emil Berliner, who would go on to invent the gramophone in 1887, and Thomas Edison, who was hired by Bell competitor Western Union. Like Adams, Tisdale's collection contains a few wall-mounted coffin phones also. They were typically tall and bulky, Tisdale said. They needed several compartments to hold the batteries and magneto. They were frequently made of mahogany. If you own one made of mahogany, you have a priceless item. By the end of the 1880s, handsome hardwoods such as walnut and cherry were used to manufacture the housing for wooden phones. In the 1890s, phones were being mass-produced of oak, and there were new shapes such as the fiddleback. They were considered more stylish to the boxy phone. Eventually, wall phones were pushed aside by newer, more compact candlestick telephones. Candlestick phones were designed to sit atop a desk with wires to a box below to hold the electronics that included the ringer. Early candlesticks had no dial, and the operator would connect the call. These candlesticks were luxury items, highly styled out of nickel-plated brass and produced by dozens of manufacturers. Later candlesticks from the 1920s to 1940s were mass-produced by large manufacturers. Standard candlestick phones include a base, a stem, a mouthpiece, and a receiver. The earliest candlesticks had wooden receivers and bases. Most turn-of-the-century candlestick phones came in simple two-tone combinations of black and silver, like those made by Monarch, Sterling, Eureka, Manhattan, DeVoe, Sumter, Federal, Wonderphone, and Western Electric. Some candlesticks phones had mouthpieces that rotated from forward-facing to upright, allowing users to adjust them to their comfortable speaking position. Candlesticks that retain their original green cords connecting the receiver to the bases are the most desirable. I didn't know there was a difference in the cords on that.
Yeah.
The popular potbelly style was named for its beveled stem shape, which included an enlarged central lobe and was produced by companies like Williams, Wilhelm, Montgomery Ward, Connecticut, Acme, Elliott, and BR Electric.
Acme.
Other candlestick designs gained nicknames like pencil shaft, oil can, rope shaft, or Roman column for their distinctive stem shapes. Common designs made by different companies were often hard to tell apart, as manufacturers were primarily identified by small markings around the phone's receiver and mouthpiece indicating the maker's style number and copyright date.
You know, I think Acme made everything on the Roadrunner show.
Absolutely, yeah.
Y'all getting an evil eye over there.
Yes.
Are we going to take our last break here?
We're going to take a last break. On your hometown station, Thunder Radio, Let's Talk Antiques continues in a moment.
My name's John Hirschman. I'm one of the original 6 owners of P&H Rentals. Started the company 30 years ago when we saw a need for individual, construction, industrial, and commercial storage. We have trailers and containers for lease and sell. Our physical location is 2947 Old Manchester Highway, Tullahoma, Tennessee. My phone number is area code 931-273-4252.
Hello, I'm Pick and Rick T from CFC, best place to get you used auto parts and all types of metals to repurpose for your needs. Just take a drive down 55, see this handsome guy, stop on by. Check out our computer for hundreds of autos to locate the make and the model of the part you need. $2 fee is all you pay. Sign in, get a hand stamp, it's good for all day. Bring in your tools, get the parts you need pulled, and use a wheelbarrow to lighten the load. Pay for your parts, prices you'll be fond of. Each part's price the same, Chevy or Honda. Get exchange warranty for 30 days too. Swap out the parts you don't need for the parts that you do. Happy picking.
When I was growing up in Coffee County, I saw firsthand the need for good paying jobs. When I was county mayor, working with other dedicated Coffee Countyans, we recruited $240.6 million in industry investment in Coffee County. 2,968 new good paying jobs to Coffee County. I'm David Pennington, candidate for Coffee County Mayor, and I ask you to join me and help make Coffee County an even better place to live and work.
The day the Lord created hope could be the same day He created spring.
Springtime's here. It's a good time to get our air conditioners checked out before those hot summer days get here. We've been here for a little over 35 years. It's been our pleasure to serve our community. We'd like to thank you for Tullahoma's finest, and from all of us to all of you.
Thank you! The Jiffy Burger on the Hillsborough Boulevard in Manchester has been voted as having the best hamburgers in Manchester. Hometown atmosphere, historical memorabilia, and of course those great burgers, salads, chicken, and so much more. It's the Jiffy Burger on the Hillsborough Boulevard in Manchester. Call in orders at 728-4452. You can also order at the convenient outdoor curb service. Hamburgers are made the old-fashioned way at the Jiffy Burger, Manchester's finest hamburgers. Open 7:30 until 9, Monday through Saturday.
All right, folks, we're back with Let's Talk Antiques.
All right. So
Okay.
when we left, we were talking about Philip was telling you about these phones
all the different versions as they came along.
and how they evolved. But we're down to about 9 or 10 minutes.
I like
Yeah.
the old party line phones where they'd ring and you get so many rings that was for your number.
People still talked about them when I was a kid, but I never actually saw one.
Oh, my grandmother used to listen in on her sister's conversation, and then they couldn't figure out how in the world she knew what they was doing all day.
Yeah, you know
it was funny.
Oh, I'm sure they did the same thing to her.
If you knew the operator, she'd listen in on all of
It
them.
was fun.
Yeah.
But we're going to give you some prices on these phones. You're going to be surprised with some of these old phones
Okay. Well, they've got
are
some
bringing.
examples. Is the a Bell Western Electric candlestick telephone model 323. This phone has the original worn cords. Normally a phone of this model would fetch $250 or less. But with the original cord, it sold for $450.
Now, when we say candlestick, we're talking about the kind that sit on Andy Griffith's
Yeah,
desk
the one
in
that
his
Andy
office
Griffiths
to start
would
with.
use, yeah.
Because he had a little different one at his house. He had one like that.
Oh,
Or
I
something
don't remember
like,
him
something like
talking
that
on the
one
phone at the
At his
house.
house, I think. But he had that one at the sheriff's office, one like that.
Yeah. Okay. Another one is where say 1877 Edison carbon telephone set, invented during the telephone wars between Alexander Graham Bell and other inventors. This model was made by the American Speaking Telephone Company. Attached to the front of the phone case itself are rules or instructions how to use the phone. Oh shoot, that one doesn't have a price on it. Okay.
That was like the internet of its
Yeah.
day.
The third model, referred to by collectors as a potbelly candlestick telephone, is this 1899 Western Electric number 9 desk telephone. Asking price for this one was $900. And so this is like a more of a metal, gosh, what would you call that? It almost looks like a dental instrument, kind of a base, an old one.
It really does, look like the old candlestick holders, except it don't have the thing on the top
Yeah,
where
it's
the
more
candlestick
turned
to go
metal.
in.
Yeah.
It has a microphone. And then it has a wire coming out
Yeah.
with a speaker on it.
Yeah, and it brought $900.
Now
And-
that's some good money for a
There you go. At a recent auction in Cologne, Germany, one of the first American phones, an 1876 National Bell Telephone Company wall phone, sold for just under $40,000. Collector Adams said he thought it was a little high, but in Philadelphia at an auction there was a similar phone by Watts Company that sold for $33,000.
Yeah.
So
They're worth whatever someone's willing to pay for them.
that's exactly what they're worth.
Yeah.
We hit some on
I
eBay
have
and see
some here.
what people
And-
can snatch up.
And I also have a few phone booths here, some wooden phone booths. Here's a vintage Western Bell wooden indoor store public phone booth. And I guess they put the wooden ones inside and the metal ones outside.
Yes, I hope so.
But you know, you would think they would put the metal ones outside. I mean, inside or whatever. Because, you know, there was aluminum mostly, weren't they? So, anyway, that brought $3,390. I'll quit digressing here and get on. So, we have a vintage automatic electric company. It is a Stroger dial candlestick telephone. And this one's a little different because the dial is on the candlestick phone. It don't just ring, you pick it up and talk.
Yeah.
You know, this is one you can
Always
actually
hated
dial
that
out.
old dial.
Yeah.
I did. It used to aggravate me to death. I'd hit the wrong button and
I've
I'd
done
go
that
all
too.
over again.
I hit the wrong buttons when I'm texting. But anyway, that one brought $2,052 with 21 bids. And we have another vintage wooden working telephone booth. So evidently this has got a phone in it and it works. You would think that a booth would work because you just walk in and out of it.
Yeah,
Oh,
true.
There opens up the door, maybe. It brought $2,000. One person bought it. Now this is called a jukebox phone.
I've not
Now,
seen one look like that before.
I'm sure other people have, but I have not. And what it is,
It's a wall mounted.
It looks like
yeah.
the old, shaped like the old radios.
Right.
And the dial would be in the middle and cover the whole top of the middle. And at the bottom is your receiver.
Mm-hmm.
It's your speaker and the receiver, you know, the headset. But more like a regular rotary phone. It's made out of Bakelite. So I guess that would make it about 50s, 40s, 50s. So this one brought $1,778 with 18 bids. And we have another one just like it that had 22 bids, brought $1,592. So they're worth anywhere from $1,500, $1,600, $1,700-ish.
That's true. Now, I got to hit on the most expensive one I found up on here, which is a British telephone booth, number 6.
Mm-hmm.
Excellent condition, authentic, complete with the floor on the inside, original leather straps for hinges, an original hydraulic door opener, works perfectly, smooth close, all the glass is intact, and it says this item is very heavy, cast iron. We will do our best to help you get it loaded. It's a pickup only, and you need a 250-ton truck, or 250 truck, and a come-along in order to get
I'm
it.
telling you, if it's cast iron,
Those
heavy.
old British. Maybe that's why nobody stole those old British phone booths.
I've
They were
moved
James
cast iron.
Bond using
Cast
them.
iron, man.
I've moved cast iron tubs and sinks, you know, and they are heavy enough. Can you imagine a phone booth?
Yeah, I've never moved a tub
God
either.
almighty, I have. Yes, I have.
But that was, and this is from Delaware. So who in the world brought it from Britain over to Delaware?
And it cost them to ship that thing.
Yeah, no
There's
doubt.
some weight there.
Yeah.
Okay, I've got a vintage antique Bell System Western Electric telephone switchboard, complete. Now this is like the switchboard that Sarah had in Andy Griffin, and it looks like It's not a big
It's
switchboard.
about like the one they had on Laughing, ain't
It
it?
doesn't have a lot of connections on it, so it would have been from a small town. If I could pull the picture up here.
Back the old the patch bays on those were what lots of recording studios and radio stations used. I guarantee you, if we look in the back closet, there's some of those patch bays
I've
back
got
there.
some of those in my closet at the house.
And so
Just
my
doing the
first
bottom
job in the
closet.
recording studio was desoldering and resoldering all the connections at a new studio, and
Yeah.
oh man, that was horrible.
God, I guarantee it. Because they
All right.
see nowadays they use pin connectors.
Oh yeah.
But anyway, let me see what that thing brought. $2,500, and I would really rather have that as one of the phones. So, are we running out of time?
We out.
We're out.
We are
less than a minute.
gone. Okay, so let's give them one more good one.
I have a LM Ericsson Tunum, which is a German phone. Very early phone made in the late 1800s with the serial number 22716. Very good condition, and it went for $3,250 with 50 bids from Sweden. And this is like it's really super cool looking. It's got the receiver on top and the crank on the side, and
It's
it looks
really
like
fancy.
you could touch it and get shocked really good while you're cranking it.
Yeah, they hadn't had all the bells and whistles with it. Can I tell them one more real quick?
All right, one more.
I have got a vintage 900 1978 mobile telephone.
There you go.
It's like the one James Bond carried around
right,
in his
yeah.
briefcase. Brought $900.
All right.
Can you a mobile phone in 1978?
Good luck on getting a signal with that one. but
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. With that, we're going to get out of here, and we'll see y'all next week.
Let's Talk Antiques airs live Wednesdays from 9 to 10 on Thunder Radio.